Elon Musk has thrown down a legal gauntlet. The tech billionaire says he is prepared to bankroll the legal defense of anyone sued for speaking out about Jeffrey Epstein or publishing his alleged client list.
This after experts fear that survivors will be sued if they name the Epstein client list. The pledge, delivered publicly and without hesitation, has injected fresh volatility into a scandal that refuses to fade.
Musk's offer comes as newly released U.S. Department of Justice files resurface a 2015 dinner attended by some of Silicon Valley's most powerful figures, including Musk himself and Meta chief executive Mark Zuckerberg. At the center of the renewed storm is a photograph. The image, disclosed as part of a broader tranche of Epstein-related investigative records, appears to show Musk and Zuckerberg seated at a long dining table with several guests. Epstein is not visible in the frame, but records indicate the photograph was emailed by Epstein to himself in August 2015, raising questions about who was behind the camera. The dinner itself is not new information. Vanity Fair reported on the gathering in 2019, describing it as an event hosted in Palo Alto by LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman in honor of MIT neuroscientist Ed Boyden. But the release of official Justice Department materials, including emails referencing the evening, has reignited scrutiny. In one email from that month, Epstein wrote that he had dinner with Zuckerberg, Musk, Thiel, Hoffman, and Wild, also naming Palantir chairman Peter Thiel. Not all those mentioned appear in the released photograph, which shows 9 people seated around the table. The resurfacing of these records has revived a familiar question. How did Epstein cultivate relationships with so many influential figures in technology, finance, and academia? Representatives for Meta have pointed back to statements first issued years ago, maintaining that Zuckerberg met Epstein only in passing one time at the 2015 dinner and did not communicate with him afterward. According to those earlier comments, the event was not organized by Epstein, and there was no ongoing relationship. Musk's own previous remarks have also re-entered the public conversation. In correspondence cited in 2019, he described Epstein as obviously a creep and denied having a close relationship with him. Musk confirmed he once met Epstein at his house, but said he did not know him well enough to introduce him to Zuckerberg. The newly disclosed files also include a follow-up email from Reid Hoffman with the subject line "Intros," referencing email connections from the dinner so that conversations could continue. The exchange has prompted renewed analysis of who was connected to whom and to what extent. Now, Musk's pledge to fund legal defense for those speaking about Epstein adds a dramatic new layer. Supporters argue the move signals a commitment to transparency and free expression, particularly in the face of potential defamation lawsuits tied to discussions about Epstein's alleged associates. Critics counter that the renewed spotlight underscores how even limited contact with Epstein continues to generate reputational fallout years later. Musk's legal pledge may intensify that narrative further. By offering financial backing to those willing to speak or publish, he has positioned himself at the center of a renewed transparency debate, one that intersects with free speech, reputational risk, and unresolved public curiosity.
Jeffrey Epstein aide Ghislaine Maxwell is seeking to protect herself from self-incrimination under the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. According to a Reuters report, Maxwell plans to invoke her Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination and decline to answer all substantive questions, according to a letter from U.S. Representative Ro Khanna. Maxwell is currently serving a 20-year prison sentence after being convicted for her role in helping Jeffrey Epstein sexually abuse teenage girls. According to Khanna, instead of answering individual questions, Maxwell plans to read a prepared statement at the beginning of her deposition before the House's Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. In his letter to House Chair James Comer, Khanna wrote, "This position appears inconsistent with Ms. Maxwell's prior conduct, as she did not invoke the Fifth Amendment when she previously met with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche to discuss substantially similar subject matter. I understand that Ms. Maxwell intends to assert this privilege on a blanket basis by reading a prepared statement at the outset of the deposition and refusing to permit members to question her individually through counsel, rather than invoking the privilege on a question-by-question basis." Khanna has posed several questions to Maxwell and sought confirmation from the House Chair whether she intends to invoke the Fifth Amendment in response to the questions. 1. On December 17, 2025, you filed a habeas corpus petition stating that 4 named co-conspirators and 25 men who entered into secret settlements were not indicted as part of the investigation. Is that statement accurate? 2. Who are the 4 co-conspirators and 25 men other than Jeffrey Epstein who sexually abused minors at Epstein's Island, his New Mexico ranch, or his New York residence? And why do you believe they were not indicted? 3. What information, evidence, or personal knowledge do you have regarding why these individuals were not charged or prosecuted by federal authorities? 4. It is well documented that you, President Donald Trump, and Mr. Epstein had a social relationship, and there are several photographs of you together. Did you or Mr. Epstein ever arrange, facilitate, or provide access to underage girls to President Trump? 5. After President Trump publicly stated that he would look at a possible pardon for you, did you or anyone acting on your behalf have any discussions with him or his representatives about a pardon or reduced sentence in exchange for your silence? 6. What client lists or records did you or Mr. Epstein maintain that document the identities of clients or associates? 7. Please identify any foreign governments or intelligence services, including those associated with Russia and Israel, that Mr. Epstein shared information with or otherwise acted on behalf of, and describe the nature and purpose of any such relationships. Last week, the Justice Department released 3 million pages of documents in the latest Jeffrey Epstein disclosure, along with 2,000 videos and 180,000 images. The documents were disclosed under a law intended to reveal what the government knew about the millionaire financier's sexual abuse of young girls and his interactions with the rich and powerful. Donald Trump, when asked about the Epstein files, lashed out at a reporter.
On the Epstein files, you talked about Democrats who were in there. Elon Musk was also in there, and so was your Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and correspondence that he had with him. Did you read those new files that were published by the Department of Justice?
I didn't. I have a lot of things I'm doing, a lot of things I'm doing. I don't know. You mentioned 2 names. I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they're fine. Otherwise, it would have been major headlines.
A lot of women who are survivors of Epstein's are unhappy with those redactions that came out. Some of them, entire witness interviews are totally blacked out. Do you think that they should be more transparent?
The fact that they thought they released too much. I heard that, and you tell me something else. No, I think it's really time for the country to get onto something else. Really, now that nothing came out about me, other than it was a conspiracy against me, literally, by Epstein and other people. But I think it's time now for the country to maybe get onto something else.
What would you say to people who feel like they haven't gotten justice, Mr. President?
Something that people care about. Yeah, what did you say? Go ahead.
What would you say to the survivors who feel like they haven't gotten
You are the
justice?
worst reporter. No wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. She's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile on your face.
I'm asking you about survivors of Jeffrey Epstein.
You know why you're not smiling? Because you know you're not telling the truth. And you're a very dishonest organization, and they should be ashamed of you.